Let's go.
An unexpected sensation shook the sports world. When a WNBA superstar dives into a totally different arena, everything instantly shifts. And imagine if this new stage offers her 10 times the attention her own league could ever provide. That's exactly what happened with Caitlyn Clark at the RSM Classic. She didn't merely show up, she completely dominated, becoming the undeniable highlight of the entire event.
Okay. So serious. Did you put snaps in? Yeah. You guys want to get out here and hit it hard.
So, Caitlyn Clark is playing golf again. She is playing in, she played in another Pro-Am, and as expected, you know, Caitlyn Clark golf is the most relevant thing in women's basketball.
Here's the surprising twist. While golf icons and devoted fans were cheering her on with pure enthusiasm, her WNBA teammates seemed noticeably less thrilled. They weren't exactly joining the celebration. So is this simple jealousy bubbling under the surface, or is there a deeper, long-standing tension behind their reactions? Let's break it down and uncover what's truly going on here.
Continue to work again.
Caitlyn's playing in Pro-Ams right now.
I mean, it's unbelievable, isn't it? I'm a big fan of Caitlyn Clark, obviously, being a women's sport, and there's not a lot that this young woman cannot do. This is her second shot into the par 4 13.
Let's start from square one, because the full story matters more than ever. Caitlyn Clark has been reshaping the sports landscape for years. She wasn't just the 2024 WNBA Rookie of the Year, she quickly became one of the league's most electrifying young stars, renowned for her jaw-dropping deep-range threes and the way she commands the court like a seasoned veteran. But her meteoric rise hasn't come without friction. Her intensity, confidence, and unapologetic competitiveness haven't always been welcomed within her own league. Then came the RSM Classic, not a mere celebrity cameo, but a basketball prodigy stepping onto a new stage for a fresh challenge, a little personal freedom, and yes, some pure enjoyment. Golf became her escape, her reset button. And instead of just participating, she shattered expectations. Teaming up with Ryder Cup captain Zach Johnson and PGA Commissioner Jay Monahan, she instantly proved she wasn't just another amateur out for a cute moment. She launched 270-yard drives, maintained laser focus, and effortlessly charmed the crowd. Even when her first drive splashed into the water, she laughed it off and found her rhythm again like the true competitor she is. That mental toughness is exactly what makes her so magnetic. Here's the shocking part. While the golf world celebrated her every move, the WNBA remained completely silent. No posts, no shout-outs, no quick congratulations, nothing. And don't be mistaken, this wasn't an accident. It was deliberate. To anyone casually observing, this might seem unusual, but for those who followed her journey closely, the pattern is clear. Caitlyn Clark has frequently been seen as an outsider, a disruptor who doesn't fit neatly into the WNBA's usual storylines. And at the RSM Classic, she wasn't just nailing incredible golf shots, she was demonstrating once again that her influence and star power reach far beyond the boundaries others try to impose on her. She wasn't simply participating, she was connecting with everyone around her. Fans flocked for autographs, kids gazed at her like she was a superhero, and parents praised her for being the kind of role model their daughters could genuinely admire. Even Zach Johnson's daughter wanted a photo. These weren't just charming snapshots, they were a masterclass in building a powerful, cross-sport presence and personal brand. Caitlyn wasn't merely entertaining her existing fans, she was expanding them. She was forging a bridge between two completely different sports and proving that elite women athletes can dominate well beyond their primary arenas. Yet while the golf world celebrated her, subtle tension began to brew inside the WNBA. Cryptic tweets and vague subtweets started appearing from accounts linked to certain players. Messages like, "Stay in your lane," or, "Funny how some people get all this attention," began circulating. These weren't harmless remarks. Caitlyn's growing mainstream influence was clearly unsettling some individuals. And honestly, this isn't new for her. From the very start of her career, there were constant whispers telling her to tone it down or labeling her confidence as too much. Critics called her self-assurance arrogance, something male athletes are often celebrated for. But Caitlyn has always done what she does best. She blocks out the noise, leads her team like a seasoned pro, and continues elevating her game to unprecedented heights. This time, the criticism landed in a completely new way. It wasn't about her jump shot or her stats, it was about her boldness in stepping outside basketball and still excelling at the highest level. And when you compare that to the way the golf world responded, the contrast is impossible to ignore. PGA Commissioner Jay Monahan couldn't stop praising her, calling her transcendent, a term usually reserved for generational legends. Ryder Cup icon Zach Johnson described her as a rare talent, noting that her humility was one of her strongest qualities. These weren't casual compliments, these were seasoned veterans acknowledging extraordinary skill and remarkable character. But perhaps the most astonishing moment came from the fans themselves. At the RSM Classic, the crowd erupted, chanting, "Caitlyn Clark." At a golf event, not a basketball arena. A WNBA superstar had become the main attraction in a completely different sport. That's nothing short of incredible. Meanwhile, the WNBA remained completely silent. They had an enormous opportunity to ride the wave of her crossover fame, to show solidarity, and to celebrate one of their brightest young stars. Instead, they let it slip by. Some claim it's jealousy. Others argue Caitlyn simply doesn't fit the league's preferred narrative. Whatever the reason, the silence was deafening. She was out there elevating women's sports, shining a spotlight on her league, and breaking barriers, and they couldn't even muster a simple public congratulations. On social media, golf fans couldn't stop hyping her, praising her for defying stereotypes and attracting entirely new audiences. WNBA fans, however, were divided, unsure how to process the whole situation. The debate only intensified from there. Some argued Caitlyn was actually boosting the league's visibility, drawing in fresh fans and expanding its audience. Others insisted she was stealing the spotlight from her teammates, chasing personal fame. It was classic tall poppy syndrome. When someone rises too high, critics rush in to cut them back down. But Caitlyn? She remained completely unfazed. After her round, she addressed the chatter with calm confidence. She said, "I'm just here to enjoy myself and keep improving." She described golf as a challenging, refreshing escape and expressed gratitude for the opportunity. Her words were simple yet powerful. She wasn't trying to please anyone. She wasn't seeking approval. She was simply doing what she loves. That's exactly what makes her stand out. Her mindset is genuine and magnetic. She doesn't bend to pressure or noise, she stays laser-focused on her own goals. Whether she's launching a 270-yard drive or sinking a deep three-pointer, she follows her passion in a bold, unapologetic way. That kind of confidence is rare, especially in a world that constantly pressures athletes to fit a mold. Even LPGA stars began chiming in, saying they wanted to see her play more often. Fans adored her, calling her a breath of fresh air and praising the way she effortlessly bridged golf and basketball. Yet while support poured in from every corner, the WNBA's reaction, or glaring lack thereof, stood out. Let's be honest, the league's silence wasn't just disappointing. It was telling. It revealed a deeper problem, a league that consistently struggles to promote its top talent and often misses huge cultural opportunities. Caitlyn's meteoric rise, fueled entirely by her own achievements, only highlighted those weaknesses further. Instead of celebrating one of their brightest stars, the WNBA let a historic moment slip right through their fingers. Instead of celebrating her accomplishments, the league, and a few players, chose to stay on the sidelines. It was a missed opportunity in every imaginable way. The truth? Caitlyn doesn't need the WNBA's approval. Her performances, her personality, and the impact she creates speak far louder than any silence from the league ever could. At the RSM Classic, she wasn't just another guest golfer. She became a source of inspiration for countless young kids who had never even watched a WNBA game before. Parents, die-hard golf fans, suddenly became curious about her basketball journey. Caitlyn was building a bridge between two worlds, a bridge the WNBA never even attempted to cross. And despite subtle pushback from certain players, her star only grew brighter. Caitlyn wasn't just a basketball phenom or an emerging golfer, she was becoming a true trailblazer. While critics tried to knock her off balance, she stayed locked on what mattered, enjoying the moment, perfecting her craft, and inspiring anyone who saw themselves in her journey. So what's next for Caitlyn Clark, and for the WNBA? Will the league finally recognize the massive value of her crossover appeal? Or will internal politics, pride, and jealousy continue to block her path? On the golf side, could we see her in more professional events, or maybe even something bigger? One thing is absolutely clear, Caitlyn Clark isn't waiting for anyone's approval. She's carving her own path, step by step, and the world is watching with growing fascination. The WNBA's silence isn't just a quiet moment, it's a revealing message about where their true priorities lie. Here's the tough truth, while Caitlyn Clark is being celebrated as a rising star in the golf world, her own league has largely turned away, some players even making openly dismissive comments. Ironically, that negativity only fuels her momentum. Every attempt to undermine her only strengthens her fan base, making it louder, more loyal, and fiercely supportive. Now let's examine the fallout, because the reactions from fans, critics, and both sports communities have major implications for Caitlyn's future. When she wrapped up her remarkable run at the RSM Classic, she likely expected nothing more than a fun weekend and a chance to showcase her competitive spirit in a completely new arena. Instead of receiving universal praise, she found herself at the center of a growing storm. Those subtle WNBA jabs. They escalated quickly after her standout performance. One well-known player even tweeted, "Golf enthusiasts, she's not that good. Stop hyping mediocrity just because you like her personality." This wasn't some random online troll, it was a fellow professional athlete, someone who understands the grind, the pressure, and the discipline required to succeed. Rather than lift her up, they attempted to chip away at her confidence. Meanwhile, the golf world responded in the exact opposite way. Fans, analysts, and former pros couldn't stop applauding her calm demeanor, natural talent, competitive poise, and effortless ability to connect with people. To them, she wasn't a gimmick or novelty, she was the real deal, a refreshing new presence bringing energy, excitement, and authenticity to their sport. PGA Commissioner Jay Monahan captured the moment perfectly. He said Caitlyn brought something transcendent to golf, not just skill, but heart, humility, and the kind of competitive fire that sports need far more of. His praise wasn't shallow or performative, it came from genuine respect for an athlete who stepped outside her comfort zone and delivered under pressure. Yet while Caitlyn was winning admiration from an entirely new audience, she was oddly losing support in her own. The WNBA's refusal to acknowledge her performance became a glaring issue. Here was one of their brightest stars, someone bringing bold, unpredictable attention to women's sports, and the league couldn't even manage a simple congratulatory message. Their silence spoke volumes, and fans noticed immediately. Social media exploded with debate. Supporters argued that Caitlyn was boosting women's sports and attracting people who had never followed the league before. Critics insisted she was stealing the spotlight from teammates and chasing personal fame. But the truth is simple, Caitlyn wasn't trying to overshadow anyone. She was pursuing something she loved, and that passion naturally drew positive attention along with it. The fact that her success was perceived as a threat says far more about her critics than about her. One of the league's more outspoken players even rolled her eyes during a press conference when asked about Caitlyn's RSM Classic performance, a reaction that spoke volumes about the simmering tension behind the scenes. One critic remarked, "We should focus on the players actually helping the league grow. Golf won't fill seats at our games." That comment went beyond criticism, it exposed a deeper insecurity. Caitlyn's skyrocketing popularity was highlighting the WNBA's ongoing struggles to effectively market its stars. Instead of tackling those issues, some players chose to vent their frustration at her. Caitlyn, however, handled everything with grace and poise. She stayed positive, concentrating on her love for golf and the pure joy of competition. "I just enjoy having fun and challenging myself," she said in a post-round interview. Her humility and authenticity only made her more magnetic to fans, particularly those discovering her through her crossover into golf. The reaction was extraordinary. At the RSM Classic, families lined up for autographs, young girls looked up to her as a role model, and even seasoned golfers were drawn to her charm. From her thunderous 270-yard drives to her engaging conversations, Caitlyn captivated millions online. She was no longer just a basketball player, and she wasn't merely dabbling in golf. She was emerging as a true cultural phenomenon, a trailblazer redefining what it means to be a modern athlete.